It is over, and that is getting justice for Natalee.
After 18 years of heartbreak and suffering, this afternoon, justice is finally served. Joran Vandersloot, considered for years to be the prime suspect in the disappearance and murder of Alabama teenager Natalee Holloway in 2005, will spend at least the next 2 decades behind bars after entering a guilty plea for extortion and wire fraud charges against her mother. As part of the deal made with the FBI and U.S. District Court of Northern Alabama, Vandersloot confessed to her slaying, ending years of speculation about his role in her disappearance, providing gruesome details about that infamous night during her senior vacation to Aruba. Vandersloot admits he was touching her on the beach when she began to reject his advances, adding, "I kept feeling her up either way, and she ends up kneeing me in the crotch. I get up and kick her extremely hard in the face. I see a cinder block laying on the beach. I take this and I smash her head in with it completely. I walk up to about my knees into the ocean and I push her off into the sea." He then added he walked home, but Holloway's body was never found. In court on Wednesday, Vandersloot apologized to the Holloway family for his actions, telling the judge that he's a changed man and he's given his life to Christ. Outside on the courthouse steps, a celebration. But the Holloway family says they aren't accepting Vandersloot's apology.
Joran Vandersloot's confession means we have finally reached the end of our never-ending nightmare. And for me, reaching the end of the nightmare, being over, is better than closure.
And Vandersloot will be extradited back to Peru. That's where he will serve his 20 years in prison, concurrently with the other murder prison sentence that he has right now in that country. On top of that, he's also being forced to pay the $25,000 he exploited and took from the Holloway family.
Yeah, in his effort, in total, he wanted $250,000. He managed to extort $25,000 out of them. Alex, thank you.
Natalee disappeared in 2005 during a graduation trip to Aruba, and her story became national news for months. She was young, smart, beautiful, and on the last night of her trip, she vanished. Part of what made the case so sensational was the fact that from day one, people thought they knew who did it. The hunch was that this guy, Joran Vandersloot, the last person to see her alive, was the one responsible for her disappearance. Sadly, nearly 2 decades of speculation turned out to be right. Natalee was murdered by the Dutch national, a boy she barely even knew. Joran, now 36, is currently serving 28 years in prison for murder, but not the murder of Natalee Holloway. And just last week, he was sentenced to another 20 years behind bars, but again, not for murdering Natalee. The conviction was for trying to extort money from her parents in exchange for information about her whereabouts. It's all very confusing.
Hi guys, welcome to Parawoman Radio. I'm Amy. Oh, hold on a second. Let me get this right. There we go. Hi guys, welcome to Parawoman Radio. I'm Amy. Welcome to another episode of Skincare and Suspects. As you could probably tell, that we're going to be talking about Natalee Holloway.
She asked to go back to her hotel, but I was just...
Natalee Holloway today. Let me make sure I get that right. Natalee Holloway today, and we're going to be talking about hydration for winter skin. So of course for that I have to bring on my good friend Angela from Angela's Aging Essentials. Hi Angela, how are you?
I'm good, Amy. How are you doing? You look beautiful.
You look really beautiful too. I was just looking at, I almost wore my hair back like yours. It's finally getting long.
I like you with those glasses.
Oh, thank you. It's just been so long since I've seen you. I just want to look at you.
I know. Same here.
Look at you for a minute.
You look so beautiful, girl.
You do too. So, how have you been?
I've been really good. I've been really busy. Had a lot going on, just like everybody else. You know, time just seems, there doesn't seem to be enough hours in the day sometimes. Mm-hmm. So, I've just been busy. How have you been doing?
I've been okay. I had felt like a long month of I got sick with the vid. And so it was like a long month and I lost track of time. And I feel like it should only be September when it's almost the end of October. Well, it is the end of October. And it's just shocking.
I know. Me and my husband were talking a few days ago about, it seems like it's been maybe 3 or 4 months since Christmas, but it does not seem like it's been almost a year. Like it does
No.
not. It has been crazy.
No. Yeah, it's been it's been a fast, crazy year. I agree.
It has
So
been.
we're going to talk about Natalee Holloway today. And what I thought we would do is go over like the timeline of events. I couldn't include everything because there's like a lot of things that went down. And also I thought we would listen to his confession because I planned this at 8:00 and the baby bird goes to bed at 7. And so he's flying around, not happy. I didn't plan this right. So it's like I've got a 3-year-old loose right now that's not happy, that's tired. But I have enough for at least half hour, 40 minutes. Does that sound good?
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Okay. All right. So let's look at the timeline. We'll start looking at the timeline and then we'll go over the beginning of it all. So everyone knows probably that on May 26, 2005, Natalee and her classmates flew to Aruba. And then it was on May 29th, Natalee meets, I never say it right. Is it Jan Vandersloot? How do you say it?
I feel like the J is almost pronounced with a U. Euron.
Okay. Because I always want to say Jan and not Euron. Okay.
I know.
Euron Vandersloot. She meets him at the hotel. And then on May 30th, that's when she is a no-show for the class departure. So that's when everybody started really kind of they set off the warning bell and warning alarm, and everyone kind of jumped into action from there. When I've watched a lot of the videos, and Natalee's mother, that is the day Natalee's mother flew out there. Like, she flew out there that day. It was May 30th. She flew out there that day to begin looking because nobody was starting to do anything. No one was looking for her. The police didn't take it seriously. They just thought she was a drunk student who didn't make it to her departure.
Yeah, you've got a really good timeline here. I'm just reading this.
Yeah. So I thought we would read some of the timeline and then we can flip over to talking about, because we are talking about winter skin and hydration and how to keep it hydrated, because I think that's a problem for a lot of us. I know it's a problem for me. Every time the seasons change, it doesn't even matter if it's going fall to winter or if it's going winter to spring, my skin always takes a hit.
Yes, girl. When the cooler months come, it's like the air in the atmosphere just sucks. Whatever hydration you do have, it just sucks it right out.
Right out. It's like
it's like I'm leaving you nothing. I'm taking it all.
And I can literally sit with a mask of coconut oil, like straight up coconut oil, and my skin will just drink it all in and be like, I hadn't even just did what I did. And then I do what you do too. I take water, and I've been splashing water on my face, but it's just really bad this time.
I know exactly what you mean. I've been just taking all the products and just slathering my skin with it, hoping that my skin is not going to crack and just totally be a mess, because it really is a struggle, especially in the cooler months. It is a full-on struggle.
It is. And it's like it brings back the T-zone, like where it's dry in certain spots, or like oily in certain spots and then dry, but also flaky. I don't know. Ugh.
I know, girl. I know what you mean. It's a mess.
It is a mess. So what do you do what are you starting to do for winter skin? Is there like a prep that you do, or what do you do?
There is a prep that I do. It's very similar. I have a steamer, like, a steamer for clothes. And about once a week, I'll turn that steamer on. I'll kind of just set it on the counter and just really let it just blow on my skin. And then after I have done that, that really is going to just really soften the skin. And then after that, that's when I'm going to go in with my really hydrating ingredients, like anything that has glycerin in it. Of course, those ceramides, urea, squalene. And I really just kind of pack that on my skin. I mean, I just really spend a lot of time just really pressing it into my skin. And Amy, that has made the biggest difference in my skin whenever I take the time to really do something that is really going to dampen my skin. And that steamer works great because it's warmer water and it really does dampen my skin really nicely. So then when I go to put those ingredients that are so good for hydration and those topicals on my skin, it is just like taking a big, huge drink of water when you feel like you're dehydrated. I mean, I can tell a huge difference in my skin when I take the time to really use that steamer. It makes a huge difference.
I do have one of those. You put like your face in it and it steams right up in it. I've never really used it, but it does make sense that you would like open your pores with something warm and nice and then bring in the moisturizing stuff afterwards.
Yeah, the only thing with my steamer is it is actually for clothes. So I can't get too close because I'm not trying to get like 3rd-degree burns on my face. So I kind of have to keep a distance. But it just does a really beautiful job at, like I said, anytime you take the time to use anything, even if it's just water, to really just dampen your skin. When your skin is dampened, it just receives any type of topical that you're going to put on. It just sucks it in.
I find that's true too. I do, like, if I dampen it before I put something on, it's like a barrier, and it kind of like, it brings it in slower, not as fast too. I've noticed, like, if my skin's like dry and I don't do anything before, it like just sucks it right in. But if I have water on it, it brings it in slower, and it almost feels like it's more moisturizing that way. I don't know if that's true, but in my mind, it feels true.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. And it's almost like it kind of locks it in too, because it seems to just absorb the products in so deep that it's like it almost puts like a shield around it, because your skin is moistened. Everybody loves that word, moist. Mm-hmm. But it's just so moistened that the products just suck into your skin, and it's just so heavenly. It's just, I love it. I absolutely love when I do that. And it just puts that shield where it's like the products that you put on, they don't just evaporate into the skin, because they're just so nicely absorbed into the skin. It's just, I love it.
Oh, and I wanted to say too that I like what you have to say about how you use your steamer, because I just feel like, it's about sustainability these days for everybody. We're not in the consumerism state that we once were, and using what you have on hand is, as long as you don't give yourself burns.
I know, girl. I get so annoyed sometimes whenever I go down the rabbit hole of wanting to kind of just study something, and it's just influencer after influencer, just kind of wanting to throw this at you and that at you. And I'm all about what you just said. Work with what you've got. Like the products I share, if you have a product that's similar to that, use that product. You don't need to go out and buy that specific product. Work with what you got to work with.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Okay, so going back to Natalee, when it was on May 30th that the class was to depart, and they had realized that Natalee was nowhere to be found. Now, there were quite a few moments on Natalee's timeline, because this is like this happened in 2005 and we're in 2023, so almost
Yes,
20
and
years.
I don't want to cut you off, but this happened.
Yeah, almost 20 years.
This happened, maybe it might be 45 minutes down the road for me. And before this happened, I was always to my kids like stranger danger. But this is really the thing that made me super paranoid, and it made me really stressed to my children. If you go somewhere with a person, you leave with that person. If that person goes to the bathroom, you go with them. You go to the bathroom, they go with you. You don't take drinks from. I mean, it just put me on a different trajectory as far as what I implement in my children as far as being safe.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
I think maybe it did that for a lot of us, because I know that for a lot of times with girls, they say like we travel in herds. Well, there's reasons we do that. For some of them are safety reasons. But also I feel like once, and I know this happened to me, and, in college, we would, travel together to a party. But once alcohol started happening, you kind of get a little looser, the herd kind of disperses a little. But yeah, and we didn't always go home with who we came with, and that wasn't always smart. So I think that with this, it like kind of helps people like remember, like, yes, this is why we don't leave our friend alone in a bar to go home with 3 boys, right?
Yeah.
Even if he says she's okay.
Yeah, I mean, I've been there. I've been to, not Aruba, but I've been to Panama City, and, just did a lot of really stupid things. And I'm so fortunate that, I was never put in a situation like this. But I think the difference with this is that this was just one of those situations where you had somebody that had graduated high school and was setting off to, really become who they were going to become, and ended up losing their life over, I feel like a lot of mistakes were made in this, as far as the friend code. And I just feel like there was a lot of things that went wrong in regards to this specific case.
Yeah. 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 But it was nothing that she deserved, nothing that she did that she deserved this. It's no victim blaming. She should have been able to do what she did and made it back to her hotel safely, and that be that.
Yeah, and I don't say that at pointing the blame at her. I say that it really, like the chaperones and the friends, and even the the people that worked at the hotel. I say that, and I direct that toward them. I just feel like there were so many things that could have happened to have maybe sped up the progress of, okay, something is wrong. This is not right.
Yeah.
Something is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, no fault of her whatsoever.
Yeah, I think because I watched so many videos today, and I did hear like some people like people were saying like she missed 2 breakfasts. She woke up drinking, and she drank all day long, and she should have, uh, even if she did, which I don't
Yeah,
know.
who
I don't
cares
know.
if she
She
did?
should have been able to do that all day
Yeah,
long and make it home safe. She should have been able
absolutely.
to do whatever the frick she wanted to do. But
Yeah, I totally agree with that, especially when you've just graduated high school. You're going on a senior trip to Aruba, of all places. Aruba, like I said, I've never been there, but it looks spectacular. You should be able to go there and kind of let loose and be carefree, knowing that you have chaperones that are going to, be held accountable for being responsible for
right,
you.
yeah.
And, I just feel like that wasn't the case.
I feel like too, in the United States, we're not allowed to drink until we're 21. There, it's 18. So of
Mhm.
course they're going to go over there and they're going to take advantage of that because they've never been able to drink legally anywhere in the United States. So of course that is something too.
Yes, absolutely. And I've been a chaperone, I mean, to my daughter, with Beta. I mean, that's not Aruba, but I'm just saying. And I know every 30, 45 minutes, I'm doing a head count. Okay, here's this one, this one, this one. You know what I mean? Just,
Yeah.
sometimes things just line up. And for whatever reason, they just line up sometimes to just be wrong or just to work
Mhm.
out wrong. But I just feel like, as far as this, not, I don't think this would have taken as long for this sweet innocent family to have gotten justice if if they would have been made to been held accountable for some things that they didn't do.
Mhm. Yeah. So, like I said, there's so much in this timeline. I'm just gonna like go through it. We can talk a little bit more about skincare, and then we'll go over his very short. It's like 4 minute long explanation of what happened that day. But on June 9th, 20, I can't see. Hold on, I've got to make this full screen. Okay. On June 9th, 2005, that seems weird to say, Vandersloot and the Kalpo brothers are taken into custody. On September 3rd, 2005, Vandersloot and his friends are set free. On January 12th, 2012, Holloway is officially declared dead. On February 3rd, oops, I meant to put that at the bottom there. On February 3rd, 2008, Vandersloot says Holloway's body was dumped at sea. On March 29th, 2010, Vandersloot seeks a financial arrangement. And then on January 12th, May 30th, 2010, Vandersloot kills a woman in Peru. And I really feel like if they had handled it right in Aruba, he wouldn't have been set free to do what he did in Peru. That's the one that's what really angers me. Because that really angers me. And then in January 12th, Holloway is officially declared dead. Sorry, I did that wrong. And then on January 13th, or March 29th, 2010, Vandersloot seeks a financial agreement. And that's when I'm getting them mixed up. Hold on.
Well, you know what, Amy, while you look at that, have you ever noticed anytime somebody
Yeah,
is,
that's what I'm trying to do. I'm sorry, what?
there's always, like, reading that one that says February the 3rd of 2008, Vandersloot says Holloway's body was dumped at sea. Have you ever noticed, especially with, serial killers, there's always a little bit of truth in everything that they say.
Yes.
You have to be, you know, educated to be able to find those truths. But just looking at that in 2008, given just that little bit of truth, you know, saying that her body was dumped at sea, and then thinking from 2008 to 2023, you know, he was finally convicted for that actually happening.
Mm-hmm.
I just find it ironic that they
always that I think that's the way they keep their stories straight, is they put in the little bit of truth that anchors them. And that's probably why they like tell different stories, is because they only got that little piece of truth and they can't keep an entire story straight, right?
Yeah, right. It's like they almost have to tell something. You know, they have to tell something and they have to tell somebody.
Yeah. So I messed this whole timeline up after, like, it goes from 2012, this January 12th, 2012, when she was declared dead. That's what's messing me up. That's supposed to be underneath the January 13th, 2012, and then November 21st should be up in the 2007. So
and also it just blows my mind too that her mama paid him. I mean, that is so hard for me to wrap my mind around, the fact that her mama paid him money to tell her something that ended up not being anything. Like, she paid her daughter's killer. Like,
but at the same time, she got the police involved, and I think she knew that probably would be what, if anything helped this case, that would be something.
Yeah. I mean, if I put myself in her shoes, would I have paid it? Absolutely, I would have paid it all day and all night. But I think as a mother, her sitting back and just really letting it all sink in, to think how twisted and how just really messed up in his own head that he is, that he allowed her to do that after he had took the life of her daughter. You know, he just kept going back for more and allowed her to pay him money.
Well, and I can't believe either that he only did it to 2 women. And the fact that he murdered on, what day was it? It was like the 5-year anniversary of Natalee's death. He murdered this woman in Peru.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, no. Every time I watch that video of them, you know, the hotel video of them getting off the elevator and going into the hotel room and then him coming out alone, I just get chills, because I just think, you know, she had no idea. And the whole time he had every intention of doing what he did, because he had already done it. And like you said, who even knows really how many times he's done this?
Yeah, he was ready to do it again. So finally on May 10th, 2023, Peru agrees to extradite him. And then October 18th, 2023, he goes forward with his, I'm a Christian now, and I'm sorry. When in fact, I think he did it because Peru is pretty crappy. It's like the worst of the worst conditions. I mean, you know, they have to be the worst of the worst conditions if he's like, send me to Alabama, right?
Girl, you know it. He was like, get me over there to that southern state. Get me to Alabama. Them hillbillies, them rednecks. Get me over there. Absolutely.
Sign me up. Sold.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
I know, girl. I don't ever want to be the one that, like, you know, questions anybody. I mean, with him saying he got right with the Lord or anything, I don't ever want to be the person that questions that. But what I will say is, you know, jailhouse religion is a real thing. But I want to give him the benefit of the doubt as far as for so many years, he held on to the fact that he didn't do this. Like, he claimed, I didn't do this. This wasn't me, yada, yada, yada. And then, like you said, was it coming to Alabama and then him thinking, oh my gosh, you know, this Peru prison, you know, was it that, or was it that this is just set on his conscience for so long? You know, I mean, for so very long, that he just felt like he just really needed to just get it out. He just needed to just let it go.
I don't think so. I think he was just sitting in Peru and being like, this anything's better than this, and so get me out of here.
I couldn't imagine, girl. Could not imagine. Mm-mm-mm.
I mean, but now Aruba's opening it up, so I think like 23 years he's supposed to get out of Peru. The cases are running congruent, which means that he is going to have served the case in the United States by the time he gets out of Peru. But now Aruba is talking about setting up shop when he gets out of Peru. So,
well, I'm going to tell you, I'm personally praying that Aruba holds him accountable for that, because when you think about just 23 years, I mean, he would still be able to serve 23 years. I mean, if he even had to serve all of that, because, you know, good behavior and all that. I mean, if he even had to serve all that, I mean, I hope that he gets life, because, I mean, what is 23 years when you may only have to do, I mean, half of that and then you're out, you know?
I don't know. He has really made a life out of it. I did see that his mom, some of the interviews his mom did, she said he was always like this. He was always kind of had a dark side, that he always wanted to go up and gamble at the casinos. He just always was like this, his mom said. Mm-hmm. And it's not kind of like, I don't know where he went wrong. It was kind of like, he was always like this.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think that personally, I think anybody that does anything like this, I think they were born that way. I think they have just always been this way. I mean, there are some situations where I think somebody snaps, but when it comes to, this is two people that we know of, you know, this is not just one of those snapped situations. This is two people that we know of. I definitely agree with, you know, he was just, he was just born that way. He just was born with not the way you or I were born.
Yeah. Well, and also, like, if you just snap, then when you come back, you say, I snapped and this is what happened. You don't.
You don't wait 20 years to say I did this, right?
Yeah, you don't wait until you're in Peru where it sucks and you want to take a little trip over to Alabama because then you say, better than where you're at. Yes.
By the way, yeah.
Okay, so do you have any good products for us that can help us with this horrible winter skin?
Yes, I have some really good products. I have a couple of different products that are kind of different price ranges. One of my favorites is Derma E. This is so affordable. I mean, you get this gigantic, I mean, it's so good, Amy. This is one of my favorites. It's vitamin E. It has glycerin. It's really good. It's one of those products that is just really, it's thick.
Yeah, that's nice.
I mean, yeah, it is just really good. And of course, Vanny Cream is another really good one. This one is recommended by a lot of dermatologists. I know I have a really good girlfriend that works at a med spa, and they actually carry this in her clinic. But this is just packed full of ceramides. It's another one of those, not as thick as that first one I showed, but still it's I mean, you can just see it just, it's a really, really good one. And
sometimes you don't want it as thick of a one too. Like when your skin's not so dry, you want kind of like what you just showed me.
yeah, I think if I was going for budget friendly, when your skin, I mean, this is 4 ounces and this is under $15. I mean, it's a really, really good one. So when your skin is just feeling like, hey, I need something extra, this is a really good one. And when your skin is just feeling like, hey, I can tell the cooler months are coming, I need something to wear underneath my makeup that's really going to help hydrate my skin, I wouldn't recommend wearing this one under your makeup because it's so thick. But this one all day, every day, this just melts into the skin beautifully. So this would be more of an AM, where this one would definitely be more of a PM. But these are two really phenomenal products. They're super budget friendly, and you know, they're going to last you a long time. And they don't have anything in there as far as any dyes, any parabens, any sulfates. Like they're just, they're really clean products.
I don't want to wear any makeup when my skin is dry like that. Literally, I can't wear makeup. I can only like, sometimes I can throw on a little bronzer and that's about it.
Yeah, I know. I've got where, like right now, all I have on my skin is a tinted sunscreen. And I've got where, Amy, I don't even really wear foundation. I mean, I hardly ever wear foundation because number one, who's got time for it? And number two, when I'll use a tinted sunscreen and I know I'm getting that SPF, I'm getting a little bit of, you know, evening out my complexion. I mean, and a lot of my sunscreens that I use are also super moisturizing. Like you said, who's wanting to have to do all that when your skin is feeling like it needs a tall drink of water?
Yeah, it would just come off looking very dry and cakey for me.
Yeah.
Which sucks because I used to have pretty oily skin. This is like pretty ironic that here I am with dry skin like everywhere almost. I used to have like really oily skin. Not anymore.
Yeah. Well, I had really oily skin too. I mean, you know, it's I always thought if you had oily skin that you really didn't need to add any type of oils on top of that, when that's not true. Like, you know, if you have oily skin, if you put an oil on top of oily skin, it's just really going to help to regulate the sebum that you have. But I went from feeling like my skin was really oily to just having really dry skin. And I don't know if it's because I'm, you know, premenopausal or what it is, but you say that, and it's just so important to really pay attention to your skin and, you know, understand what your skin needs, because nobody really can tell you when you're looking at yourself in the mirror every day and you're like, okay, I know what's right for my skin. So
yeah. Well, I actually had to changed my collagen up. My friend that I met on Facebook, she was telling me about this. I don't know how to say it because I don't even know if I've ever had anyone verbally say it. Trainant. It's TRANONT. It's their glow.
Ooh, that looks good. I love that packaging.
Yeah. And this is what she says. And my skin really notices a difference when I do liquid, number one, it likes it better than when I do capsules. But she says it's medical grade. It has hyaluronic acid in it. It has biotin. It has an antioxidant blend. It has 10 grams of protein in it, which a lot of them only have 8 or 9 grams. And it has 11 grams of collagen peptides per serving. And I think that's the difference, is the amount that you get per serving.
Yeah.
And it tastes like shit. It tastes like shit. Anything that's healthy tastes like shit. So you just take a little shot, you drink it down, and that's it. But this is pina colada, and it's not as bad as the others. So
That's so funny you say that. I guess it's probably been a year ago. Me and my best friend, we bought these. It was a 30-day supply. Amy, oh my God. If you've ever smelled like well water, like sulfur.
yes. Mm-hmm.
It was these little packets, and you took them orally and you squirted it in there, and it tasted just like sulfur smells, just like a rotten egg. They were horrible.
This
But
isn't that.
I'm going to tell you, my skin never looked better. And I wanted to rebuy them, and I was on the struggle bus to get them down for the 30 days. I was not going to throw it in the garbage can because I wasn't about to waste my $1. But I thought, I don't know if I have it in me to rebuy these. But
Yeah, no. It's not that. It's more, God, what is it more? More like a bitter. It's more bitter, but they try to make it sweet. So it's more like a bitter taste. It's a bitter taste. It's not a sulfur. It smells like pina colada. It's not a sulfur taste. It's more like a tart, bitter, kind of taste. And it
I'll
tastes,
have to look into that.
yeah, and it tastes like a little like vitamins.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll look into it for sure because I can do bitter. Sulfur I can't do. But bitter I can do.
Yeah, I couldn't do sulfur either. But I know that because where I went to college, it was the water was well water, and it stunk. And it was literally came out red.
Mm-hmm. So bad.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Okay,
terrible.
so let's listen to his confession, and then we can wrap it all up. Okay. Shit. Did it?
Plus, she asked to go back to her hotel, but I was just trying to get dropped off a little bit further away from her hotel, so we could walk back to her hotel, and I might still get a chance to be with her.
Okay.
That's what I was hoping for.
Okay. So what happens?
Yeah, Deepak drops me off at a place a little right of the Marriott hotel known as the Fisherman's Huts. This place is not so far from, the next hotel is the Marriott, and the next hotel after that is another Marriott, which is a timeshare, and then it's the Holiday Inn. Well, we walk along the beach.
Do Deepak and Satish get out? Come with you? What happens to them?
Deepak and Satish leave. They leave. They go back to their home.
I want to pause that right here because what do you think? Do you think that those brothers knew what had happened or that had no idea whatsoever?
I think they had no idea whatsoever.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think that they were hauled in twice and that their friend was not such a good friend to let that happen to them.
I assume they go back to their home.
I don't.
They get in their car and they leave. I'm actually with Natalee walking along the beach. I find a space before we get to the Marriott hotel, where I lay her down. We lay down together in the sand, and we start kissing each other. I get her to kiss me again. We start kissing each other, and I start feeling her up again, and she tells me no. She tells me she doesn't want me to feel her up. I insist. I keep feeling her up either way, and she knees me. She ends up kneeing me in the crotch. When she knees me in the crotch, I get up on the beach and I kick her extremely hard in the face. Yeah, she's laying down unconscious, possibly even dead, but definitely unconscious. And I see right next to her there's a huge cinder block laying on the beach.
When you say cinder block, looking at the walls of this place, is it like those?
The exact same cinder blocks. I see a huge cinder block laying on the beach. I take this and I smash her head in with it completely. Her face basically, collapses in. Even though it's dark, I can see her face is collapsed in. Afterwards, I don't exactly know what. I'm scared. I don't know what to do, and I decide to take her and to put her into the ocean. So I grab her and I half pull and half walk with her into the ocean. I push her off. I walk up to about my knees into the ocean, and I push her off into the sea. After that, I get out. I walk home.
I feel like also going along the lines of when you say that there's some truth into all their stories, I feel like when they finally do confess, it's got to be much worse than what they're saying because they always whitewash it. So what happened to her was probably much worse than what he is actually finally admitting to.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. I don't feel like her just declining his advances once would lead to that. I feel like it was a lot more going back and forth, and I also don't necessarily believe just what he said. I don't think that as a man he would have went through all of what he went through as far as him kicking her in the head, then ending her with that center block, and then just have left it at that. If you read between the lines, I do not believe that for a second.
Yeah, no, I'm sure he finished what he went to the beach there to go there for, and is just leaving that out. I mean, did he do it to her when she was passed out? Was she unalived already? I mean, what was it?
Yeah. I agree with that. I almost feel like it probably happened before she passed away, and then I think he probably freaked all the way out, and that's almost why he felt like he just needed to go ahead and she knows who I am, she's seen me, like when sheer panic sets in and you just really start freaking out. Mm-hmm. And I also I don't know, Amy. One time we were at the beach and I had on this really obnoxious hat and I lost it in the ocean, bouncing in the waves. It came out and it washed back up. I found it. It just washed back up in the waves. And it was a long time later, like 10 or 15 minutes later, it washed back up. So I also question what he says as far as taking her out knee deep. Because I know if you don't get past, you know what I'm saying? If you don't get past a certain point, then it's just
going to come back. Yeah.
Yeah. So I really question all of that. I mean, I don't know. I don't believe it.
Yeah, no, I don't believe that he only went knee deep. I believe because he did confess. He said they took her out to sea. So I'm sure that he did find, I don't think it was the Cowpo brothers, but maybe he found another shady friend to help him take him out at sea. He's also been like mixed up in so much stuff. He was like he was mixed up in kidnapping women for sex trade. And I mean, he must, and I mean, his father, his father was supposed to be a part of that whole thing. I mean, and his father was kind of vocal about Natalee. I mean, could it have been the father? I don't know. It could have been anybody. I'm not here. I'm just speculating. I'm not saying for a fact. But I don't think that it just happened. It couldn't have been that way because.
And we'll never know the truth. Going back to, I mean, even in my own situations, anytime I've ever done anything that, I shouldn't have done, I've always felt like I kind of needed to tell somebody.
Yeah.
And, I feel like there's always a little bit of truth in, anything that a criminal says. There's a little bit of truth in there because they almost feel like when they tell that truth, it's kind of like a burden that they're able to lift off themselves. So when you piece all of the truths that he said, as far as, like you mentioned, taking her out to sea and, all this, I feel like there is more to it, but I feel like he feels like he said just enough to make it right with the man upstairs or give her family closure, or he feels like he said just enough, and anything else he's going to carry to the grave with him.
Well, and her mother did say this was better. This was better than a confession. This was closure. For her, it's closure. And so I'm glad she's gotten some peace from it. I really am.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. She deserves it. I watched the series with her dad. It was a very long series, but I watched the series with her dad when he was going and trying to find justice and all that. And I mean, I can't imagine, when you just think about breaking up with a boyfriend, like when a boyfriend dumps you, and closure helps in that situation. I can't imagine being in a situation like this, when you get closure to something, you're really able to just tie it up and kind of just throw it away. So, yes, I'm very thankful that he was finally, a human and able to give her family that closure, because they absolutely deserve it.
And she said something really funny. To me, it was really funny. She said, you don't look so good. You don't look so good. So.
I know. I thought Mama's throwing that shade. She's like, boy, you've been taking this all these years and you look like shit. I know.
And he didn't look so good. He doesn't look so good. He looks really bad.
Mm-hmm. But when you harbor stuff like that, I mean, it takes a toll on you. When you just have done something like that and you allow it in and it just eats you up. I mean, I'm glad she said that to him, because he clearly is a little bit vain and cares about, his outward appearance. And I just thought, way to go, Mama, for throwing that shade, because that probably ate him up.
Mm-hmm. And she is somebody that I admire. Her skin has always looked great. She has always been on point, and she still to this day is on point.
Yes, she is. I love a woman that is just so effortlessly classy. That's what I strive to be the older that I get. I want to be that woman that, doesn't have to wear the bright red lipstick and all the jewelry, to just be able to kind of make her presence known. And that is exactly what Natalee's mama gave me. She just has a presence about herself that is very admirable.
I agree. She's beautiful inside and out. So
yes.
So do you have anything else you want to share with us about winter skin and hydration?
Just hydrate your skin, ladies. Look for, a good hydrator does not have to break the bank. Those two that I shared with you are super affordable. You got to be consistent. I say that all the time. You can't get a product and use it once a week. You've got to take the time to be consistent and put it on. If you are consistent in time, you will absolutely see results. So pull out a product that you have, go buy one of these, be consistent with using it, and I promise you, in these cooler months, you will see a difference in the hydration of your skin if you stay consistent with using your products.
Okay. Well, I need to get some consistency on my products because I kind of like float all over the place. I think I'm going to get that Derma, the really thick one that you showed. The Derma, what was it? Derma E or Derma? Yeah, Derma E.
It's Derma E. Amy, you will love this. It's a really, really good one. Like you'll message me and be like, girl, I can tell my skin is hydrated. It feels so good. You will love this. It's a good one.
Okay, well, this has been really fun, Angela. Thanks for doing this with me.
Well, thank you, Amy. I hope you have a wonderful rest of the week and have a happy Halloween, and I will see you next time.
Okay, I'll see you next time. Bye, Angela.
Bye, girl.
Okay, guys, I want to talk really quickly before I go. I have started my members, and I've opened up only one tier. We're going to start talking about the horrors of World War II, and Ava Braun is going to be the first person that we're going to talk in our members only chat. I'm going to go out and show you a little bit about what I'm talking about, who Ava Braun is, and I'll see you guys next time. I love you guys. Bye. Deeply unhappy and extremely in love with Hitler. Ava Braun was characterized as being deeply unhappy and extremely in love with Hitler.